Noodle Cabin.
Hi everybody, it's Mr. Barton from Victory Physical Education Online, and we are here today to talk about a game called Noodle Cabin. Now, Noodle Cabin is a game I play here at Victory with my 1st through 5th graders. It is a great game to reinforce your overhand throwing. That's the TEL aim, step, and throw method that we use here at Victory. It's also a great cooperative activity, and it's also a lot of cardio. They're going to run around a long time. Now, the object of this game is for each side, and there are going to be 2, to build as many noodle cabins as they can in 5 minutes. We have 3 5-minute rounds. So the ultimate goal here is to build noodle cabins. And if you don't know what a noodle cabin is, I'm showing you what a noodle cabin looks like. They will have to build an 18-inch noodle cabin in the first round, a 24-inch noodle cabin in the second round, and in the third round they have to build a 36-inch noodle cabin, which is very difficult, but yet fun. So again, you're seeing a picture of what that noodle cabin looks like. So what I do first is I bring the students in, I separate them, I make sure that they know what team they are on. So we have the O's versus the X's. All these little lines that you see here are the noodles on the ground. You're going to need a lot of these noodles. All right, I would say at least 60 to 70 of these noodles. I used just a regular long noodle and I cut them into 3s. And you're going to need a whole bunch of foam balls. I would say at the most 5 on each side. They start with 5 on each side, so not a lot of these. And you'll need 2 cones on each side. So that's the setup and the equipment that you need. And obviously in this game, there is one team versus the other. They stay on their side of the gym the entire time. There's no switching going to the other side. So I reinforce that they stay behind the center line right here, which you'll see why here in a second. So they're trying to build as many noodle cabins as they can. I let them know that when they build their noodle cabins, they need to be close to a cone, but not touching the cone. If it's too far away from that cone, I don't count it. So there is also 3 jobs in this game, and I try to encourage them to try all 3 at some point. Job number 1 is builders. So you're building the noodle cabins, the picture that you saw. Sometimes it takes 2 people to build a noodle cabin, sometimes 3, depends on the group. And they're going to make that noodle cabin. They're the builders. You also need guards that stand in front of the noodle cabins to protect it. All right? And they're using their striking skills to block any ball that comes towards that noodle cabin. And you also have destroyers. So you have 3 jobs. You have the builders, the blockers, and the destroyers. So, and I let the kids know that they get to decide what they want to be and where their team needs the help. So the game begins. And the O's are going to build their noodle cabins, and there's 2 cones, so they could build them near 2 of those cones. And they're going to be throwing the balls at the other side, at the X's on this side. And the X's are also building their noodle cabins, and they have their blockers, and they have their destroyers. So when you throw that ball at that noodle cabin, if they have a blocker, we have a noodle cabin right here, if there's a blocker there to block that, it doesn't take much for a ball to come in thrown by an O for an X to maybe have it sneak through there and then knock down that noodle cabin, which means they got to start over. Now, at some point during the game, I let them know in the first round they have to build an 18-inch noodle cabin. So, and I let them know that when you have an 18-inch noodle cabin that's built, that can stand by itself, not touching the cone, they come over and I measure it. Now, I put it on the floor, I put the measuring stick on the floor. The first round is the orange, that's the 18-inch. Second round is the 24-inch. And the third round is that purple tape at 36-inch noodle cabin. I give them 1 point for the first round for each noodle cabin. I give them 2 points in the second round for each noodle cabin. And if they get that 36-inch noodle cabin, I give them 10 points. All right? So the goal here is to see how many points you can get as a noodle cabin. Now, once they make a noodle cabin and I measure it, I then destroy it. And you're going to see that on the video. All right? Now, you can have them knock it down. I knock it down sometimes. And then they rebuild and they try to build another noodle cabin. So again, lots of cardio running around, cooperative stuff going on. There's blocking. There's destroying. There's building. It's just a lot going on in this game. And usually by the end of the 5 minutes, they need a rest. Okay? We talk about strategy, and then we play the second round for 5 minutes. That's at the 24-inch. But they get 2 points for that. And then in the third round, I play another 5 minutes. If they get that 36-inch, I give them 10 points. I let them know who's winning, but in the end, it really doesn't matter who's winning. we try to reinforce that TL, aim, step, and throw method. It's just a great game to play, a lot going on, and a lot of fun. So again, the name of the game is Noodle Cabin. You need a whole bunch of noodles, some foam balls, and some willing students. And stay tuned and watch it in action. Thanks for watching.
Build those noodle cabins, and once you build them, you gotta protect them. When it's 18 inches tall, you call me over. I'll take that yardstick. Thank you. Remember, it's got to be 18